Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here, and today I'll be showing you some Battlefield 4 gameplay, as well as giving you my initial impressions. Now I'd like to set the stage before we jump into this video. I am not a Battlefield expert. In fact, it's been a good 10 plus years. I think the last time I played a Battlefield game was back in high school, and that was Battlefield 1942. And frankly, I'm just gonna be completely honest, I don't remember much about the game. I know it's a game that really focuses on having a big open world combat, you know, these large maps with lots of players and vehicles involved, but that's really all I remembered prior to picking up Battlefield 4 earlier this week. Now, at this point in time, I've sunk about 6 to 8 hours into the game. I still feel like a complete newbie. I feel like I don't know much at all about Battlefield. I've been running around, I've been shooting people. Some games go great, some games not so much. But overall, even though I'm a complete noob at this game so far, even though I don't know much about Battlefield at the moment, so I can't give you an in-depth review, first impressions are this game is crazy and a lot of fun. So let me just touch on some of the things that I've really come to enjoy about the Battlefield in my experience so far. First of all, the level of destructibility within the environment is just amazing to me. Now realize that didn't play Battlefield 2, didn't play Battlefield 3, didn't play Battlefield Bad Company. This is just coming pretty fresh. So compared to other FPS games that I've played in recent years, it's like everything blows up. That should be the name of this game, Battlefield 4, everything blows up. You know, you start these levels and the buildings are pristine, everything's looking good, and then within a matter of like 5 or 10 minutes, there's giant holes in the side of walls and divots in the ground and barricades that have just been blown to smithereens. It's absolutely crazy. Just the sense of progression in a single match that only lasts 10 to 20 minutes, and just to see the environment go from this nice looking town or whatever landscape that you happen to be in into just a complete mess, like an utter it is crazy. I feel like almost every single building in this game can blow up. Again, don't know whether or not that's actually true, but based on the 6 to 8 hours that I played, I feel like every single building can blow up, and trees get absolutely levied, and there's in some maps just giant windstorms and tornadoes that come in. Just all sorts of craziness happens in this game. Battlefield 4, everything blows up. That really should have been the name of it. So yes, I just think that's really cool. Again, as someone comparing it to other FPS games that I played in recent years, I think the level of destructibility in the levels is phenomenal. Unfortunately, that also translates to being very taxing on your system. So this definitely feels like a game that if you don't have a moderate to high-end rig, if you feel like you've got a low-end rig that's 3 to 5 years old, you might have a hard time running this game at a decent frame rate, at a decent visual setting. Again, that level of destructibility can be really taxing on a system. Plus, this game looks absolutely beautiful. So if you can crank it up, it's, you know, yeah, it's just a game that definitely seems like it's going to be very, very taxing to low-end machines. But again, if you have a machine that can run it, the level of destructibility is absolutely insane. I think the other thing that I found that I really am enjoying about this game is it seems like no matter what type of a player that you are, how you approach combat in FPS, the thing that you like to do, there's a role for you, and it always feels like you're contributing. So if you're someone who, you're just a standard FPS player, you love running and gunning, shooting people in the face, you can definitely play that infantry role. Now if you're a player who likes FPS but also realizes, I'm not much of a crack shot, I don't have the best aim, there are plenty of roles for you to fill beyond vehicular combat, either, you know, flying jets or helicopters or running around in tanks or even just transport vehicles. You could just be a driver. You could literally just be a driver and chauffeur people around the map to conquest points that they need to take over for your team. Or you could play a supportive role in which you're running around, spotting vehicles, spotting enemies, allowing those people who are good shots to take them out. Snipers in the back, you spot these enemies, they're going to be displayed on everyone's heads-up display and much easier targets. And even just playing beyond a supportive role in the sense of spotting, you can play a supportive role in running around, you know, refilling teammates ammo, healing them up with med kits, reviving people. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you'll go in a down but not out state, or rather a down state in which you can be revived. There's definitely sometimes you take completely fatal damage and you cannot be revived, but again, that scenario is there, and depending on the type of player that you are, there's a role that can be filled, and most of the time I'm playing just running in, infantry dude, shooting enemies. But the time that I have spent in vehicles and the time that I have spent dropping ammo, dropping health kits for people, I've always felt like I've been contributing to the effort. It's never been a situation where I'm someone who wants to play a certain role but feels like I'm not actually helping my team. And I think that that's something that's also very, very phenomenal about this game. And then lastly, I just want to say the grand scale with the 64 player levels, insane, especially if you're playing on a close quarter map and you've got this, either you're playing a deathmatch or domination or conquest or whatever. It's just unbelievable, just the sheer chaos that takes place in this game. So as you could probably tell by the excitement in my voice, by the way I'm rambling on at a million miles per minute, I am really, really enjoying Battlefield 4 in the brief time that I've spent so far. But again, because I still feel like a noob to this game and I really don't know everything, not even close, I didn't want to give you guys sort of a final impressions or a review of sorts of the game, because I'm still in the learning process. It's definitely a very interesting time of year. You know, Battlefield 4 just launched. We've got the next Call of Duty game coming out next week. I am going to try that game out as well, but I have to say, if you know, the last few Call of Duties have been any indication, I'll probably just play it briefly and then move on. But this game, Battlefield 4, feels like something that I could very well stick with. So expect more coverage of the game going forward. As long as I continue to play it, I'll be sure to give you guys some updates, and you know, maybe I'll give you some more in-depth coverage and guides even if I turn out to be a good of enough player or knowledgeable enough. There'll probably be more sorts of coverage like that in the future. All right, guys, that's gonna do it. My first impressions of the game, pretty good. Really, really enjoying it, and I will keep you guys updated as to how that progresses. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe, and as always, keep watching and keep owning.